We're down here at the Mullumbimby Community Gardens. I've got Dudley Leggett here. Dudley is the Chairman of Directors of the Sustainability Research Institute. Thank you, Dudley, for taking the time to be part of the Infinite Choices Convention.
Most welcome, Andrew. Great to be here.
That's great. Can you just give a little snippet of your own perspective and your own value add and why you're drawn to support the event?
Yes, so I came to this region in the early 70s because it seemed like the perfect place to look at how we could create more sustainable ways of living. Prior to that, I was in the chemical engineering. I was a chemical engineer with the petrochemical industry in Melbourne. And then I went overseas and travelled for 4 years looking at the way other people were living and decided that we really needed to change the way we were living. So that's what brought me up here. And since I've been here, I've done a lot of research, particularly in terms of sustainable settlements, community living. I established a community with my wife at that time, early 70s, and that's still going strong today. So that's part of where I've done my work and research, but I've worked a great deal with government, with local government, state government as well. My oldest son is in Melbourne. He's advising state and federal governments on sustainability as well. And we've established a research institute specifically for generating knowledge in the sustainability field and for disseminating that to everybody. So that's a key thing that I'm working with. But we branch out from there to a whole range of different areas. My particular passion is more around the community side and personal development side, because you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, as they say. So to me, it's all about the people. And this is what has been a big stumbling block, really, for community development up here. It's usually been difficulties between the interaction to the people. So it comes back to that, and I think a deeper spiritual understanding of life is fundamental. And when we understand that we all come from one living system and we all need it, and we share that knowledge with everybody, then that's going to be the keystone for getting us to work together as we need to. Right now we have any amount of expertise. I really believe in the material sense we can do anything, because now with our capacity to manipulate even the DNA and the at the atomic level, nanotechnology, etc., there really isn't anything that we can't do. But unfortunately, we're wasting most of our energy on combative behaviours, wasting so much energy by competing and not being organised with an economy which is about collaboration, cooperation. So that's my big passion, and I'm particularly keen on this region being a way that shows the rest of the country and maybe even the world. And a lot of people feel that way up here, that we're in some sense meant to be a model. But we haven't somehow quite got it yet, because we haven't really connected up the key people with the key thinking and get that broadly involving the public. So I think that what you've initiated here is just what we need, something that brings us all together. We can hear the expertise, we can build the collaboration, and that's what's going to take us forward. And frankly, you know, if we do that, I think it's unlimited what we could do, and the earth needs it, and the world needs it. So,
well, it's interesting your comment there about land and communities, because if everything is traced back to the land, all the problems and division of the world can come back to the land and the division from it, the use or abuse of the resources. And the way I see it is, well, that could be the solution, as we dive into that problem and come out clean with the objective of we have enough. We have enough resources if we're more resourceful.
Indeed.
We have enough potential if we're more connected, collaborative, creative, constructive. With your expertise, parcels of land are going to be part of the equation, where social entrepreneurs, business entrepreneurs are wanting to open up to an allied use of that land for profit, for people, for planet, for place. that would be something your organisation and networks could support, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is really what's held us back. We haven't had the resourcing to acquire land. Land here has become extremely expensive. When I first came here, it was dirt cheap. Nobody wanted to even live up here. But that's all completely changed over the 40 odd years. So now that's what we need, is the resources. There are the people, but they need support to get organised, and that's what we be offering, because that's where a lot of my expertise has been in working with people and creating communities that can be sustainable. And there's so much technology in that area as well that can be utilised. And this is a very fertile ground up here. There's people with every kind of expertise, I think, particularly on the human level, social level, but also the technology is also something which is accessible. And as you say, if we can bring in some resources, then we can really take off here and show that there is a much better way of living with each other and with the earth, because we all belong to the earth. That's the truth of it. So,
actually, that connection to the earth is interesting, because at a spiritual level, the indigenous cultures have a strong bond and energetic connection to the earth. I was speaking before with Don Coyne, who talked about biochar and its capacities to help rehabilitate mine sites that have been contaminated.
yeah.
And as a chemical background that you have, there is an opportunity, I believe, to start to connect to the wisdoms of the indigenous cultures and their land and the appreciation thereof, by acknowledging that we have contaminated the land, we have contaminated the culture, but we have the wisdom to rehabilitate the land, to reintegrate, reframe and reimagine how that land could be used.
Yes.
Is that something that your networks again could advocate and be sponsors for or supporters of?
Absolutely. That's one of the great things about this region, again, is there's been established a very good relationship with the local Aboriginal people, or we like to call them the original people, it's more accurate. But certainly, in a way, we're talking about going back to the future, because we have to go back and pick up what we ignored when we came here with our own ideas of what was required, and we rode roughshod over a deep spiritual connection to nature. And that's what we do, essential that we get that back. That helps us to understand ourselves, who we are, what we really need out of life, and then we will be complementary to nature rather than very much antagonistic. And people here have gathered into this region because of that concern, and it's become quite well known that this region is very responsive to negative things that are going on, coal seam gas, excessive mining and so on. So this great wealth of the nation that has been exploited does need to give back, and I think that's where the future lies, is bringing that acquired wealth which has been taken from the earth and putting it back to the earth to regenerate a collaborative relationship. We are, after all, ourselves part of nature, but we've tended to decide, oh no, nature's over there and we're over here. But our future lies in coming together and following nature's great guidance and great teachings, and complementing it with our own clever abilities with the analytical intelligence that we have.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Back to the Future there, because at the Infinite Choices Convention, I want to launch an enterprising people's movement called Neo Solutions.
Yep.
As a smart man, you'd know neo is the Latin word for new.
Yep.
Everything old can be new again. And every mine site can be new post-mine life.
Sure.
So the transition period that we could establish by connecting across cultures, across competing agendas, across industries, can showcase that mining has been the problem or contributor to the problem, but it could also be a global citizen of sustainability if we help it to be.
Absolutely. And what attracted me particularly was the fact that it's Neo Solutions, and that's what I'm always advocating, enough talk about the problems. All we really need to hear about and focus on other solutions, because there are so many. There's no question that we have all the solutions available to us. What it needs is that collaboration to come together, work together, not be trying to profit or gain against each other, but to gain together. That's the key.
It's fantastic. And it's fantastic to be here in the Mullumbimby Community Gardens, because it's the first time I've really taken in the depth of community capacity here. And as people walk by and there's noise and activity happening, it's a vibrancy that is not to be devalued. It's fantastic.
It is. It's a really wonderful development that's just popped up. It was something that had to happen, I suppose. People talked about community gardens for a long time, and suddenly a few people got together, took the initiative, got it started, and it's just taken off. Like every time I come here, I can't believe how much bigger and better it is. And today it's full of people doing workshops and understanding different things. So no, it's a wonderful example of what can happen in a community that works together.
Excellent. Well, Dudley, is there anything you'd like to tell the potential delegates of the event before we wind up now?
Well, please come. I think that's the main thing. We really welcome so much the expertise that's out there, that people come and share that, and we can get together with a real passion to build a new world, which is absolutely time to do. So yeah, please come and let's make this a wonderful beginning to a never-ending expansion of goodness across the world. This region is totally the place to begin, and then it's unlimited where we can go from there, I believe. So yeah, I think if people will just respond and come, that'll be magnificent. Well, I mean, why would people want to come here to this event? Either they've got something that they would like to share and to get support for, get other people interested and involved in, or they're people that want to know what is happening, what's possible that they can get involved in. Because there's so much talk about the problems of the world, but we really do need to get together and share the solutions, and they're there. So this is a place where those with ideas can meet those that are looking for ideas, or somewhere to put their effort, their money, and that's how it's all going to happen. The world that I envision is one where people of all ages work and live, enjoy and learn together as one big family. And I think that that's where we're going. I'm certain of it, that we have to go to a better place. We're too clever not to. So now's the way of living in a world where everybody's access to plenty of good food, healthy food, no shortage of energy to do what they want to do, and we're helping each other build their homes, which we already do on our community, our small community. We could be doing that on a large scale. So children could be learning what they need to learn right there on the spot with a learning community. That's something that's a real passion for me, to live in that kind of learning space where we're all enjoying the joy in the moment of living and learning and sharing together.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you. Good on you. Now, I don't...